But one big thing that I've been working on is, yeah, definitely a merch shop. It's been a long time coming. People have been asking me pre-100,000 subs if I'd create some merch, and I always thought about it. I thought, everybody does such a good job, like kind of in the tech space, creating merch, whether it's a company or a person or someone on YouTube. So I didn't know how I really could fit into this space, and I really started thinking about like, I don't really have a logo. I should probably come up with one. Right now, my logo is my avatar that I took on like day 2 of streaming ever. I should probably put some time into that. So I didn't really know kind of where I fit in with merch and stuff like that. Then I started thinking about the things that I like and the things that I would wear and the things that I kind of care about in tech. And that's when the ball started rolling. So anyways, yes, my wife did design this. This was me and her going at it, mostly her. Me just saying, hey, can you change that? Can you change that? But the first one, I'm calling them drops because they literally are drops. I guess figuratively, but more associated with a drop than anything else. But yeah, it's my first drop is this collection I'm calling Everything Dark Mode. I love dark mode, as you guys couldn't tell. And this was my first one, and it's not the typical. I guess I don't know if it's typical or not, but I will say it's not print on demand. So once these are out, they're out, and then I'll have to decide if I'm gonna make a whole bunch more. So we'll see. So once everything's out, it's gone, and then I'll try to create more. If people like it, if not, I'll switch to something else. So with this type of style of drop, you take a bigger risk. Because you make the investment up front, you hope it pays off or at least breaks even. I'll be totally fine. But a lot more risk with this way. But the other way, print on demand, little risk, because I could change the design tomorrow. That's not the case. Sticking with it. Anyways, thank you so much. I hope you like it. I'm a fan of dark mode. I love dark mode. I couldn't think of a better thing to put on there. Like I said, I don't have a logo. Wasn't going to put my face. Although my mom and dad would probably like, yeah, I'd buy it. Other than that, I don't know how many people would. So anyways, I'll get off that. My volumes are kind of high. I feel like, at least in my ear. But I'll definitely keep things in mind. If you have ideas, yeah, throw them out, and I'll see what's next. But I kind of know what my next drop might be. You guys are probably thinking light mode. Maybe not. I don't know who would like light mode. No, I'm sure there are people who do. But I got some ideas. But anyways, thank you so much. There's been a ton of orders already. It's been blowing my mind. I get a notification when it goes off, so thank you. I appreciate it. If you have feedback, let me know too. I'm always welcome to feedback. I tell everyone all the time, like, hey, feedback is a gift, and it doesn't have to be positive, right? There can be constructive criticisms and constructive feedback to help guide you, and I think that is a gift too. So there's something you want to see, you want change, you want me to know, let me know. Either in private or here or wherever, let me know. Because like I said, feedback's a gift. People don't always offer feedback. And when you get it unsolicited, especially, or solicited, it definitely is a gift. Because it's hard to give feedback. Ask anyone who creates products or does design or even does anything, any kind of job, you rarely ever give feedback. I mean, how many times do you give the person who delivered something from Amazon feedback? I only started just recently because I'm like, man, these people are doing a great job day in and day out, and I don't want them to only see when they do bad jobs and when I complain. So anyways, I started giving them 5 stars on everything. If it's on my doorstep, 5 stars everything, and I think you should too, because it'll hopefully make their day. Anyways, I'm like off in the weeds already. If you have something you want to share, throw it in chat. Let's talk about it. I want to talk about tech, try to keep it related to tech. I know that there's a lot going on outside of tech, but hey, this is like our 1 hour a week where we get to talk about things tech and things that we're interested in, especially when it comes to like home labs and networking and, self-hosting and servers and storage and all that kind of stuff. This is one of the few times I can talk to anyone who understands what the heck I'm even talking about. So anyways, yeah, throw it in chat. Let's talk about it. I'm going to start from the top, and I'm definitely going to work my way down. So let's see. I'm just gonna roll with it. I got like this eyelash. Don't you hate it when you have like an eyelash that like pokes you in the eyeball? It's like the worst when it then gets in your eyeball and you can't get it out. So anyways, But again, thank you guys. I really appreciate it. I'm just glad I get to share something with people because, like I said, it's been a long time coming. There's been a lot to do, and I learned a ton about getting things created. So, anyways, let's see. Cyber Knight, hey y'all, how's it going? Let's start from the top. Let's get into familiar territory and stop talking about things I'm not familiar with, like my shop. Cyber Knight, how's it going? Let me do one minor adjustment because I'm hearing like, hey. So, sorry, that's my test. That's my test. My dogs know my test. Hey. All right, I'm not gonna do it too loud, but that's my test to see if I'm peaking or not. And I pretty much hate my audio setup right now. Anyways, I'll fix it. Cyber Knight. What I'm working on? Well, I've set aside a large corp framework. I've set aside the large corporate frameworks, Rails. Yep. Groovy and Rails, and like other Spring Boot Java for my web dev efforts, in favor for RAR, which is I'm currently trying to figure out Rails on what? Rails on I don't know what RAR is. There's so many acronyms when it comes to development. I don't know what RAR is. I need to know what RAR is, maybe someday. But Ruby on Rails, duh, I should have known that. God, thank you. Good call. Ruby on Rails. All right. I'll be honest. I've done very little Ruby, and that was just like hacking at stuff, like either hacking at stuff to get like things to build in CI. I might have done Rails, but I don't know it. Done very little Groovy too. The only Groovy I did was writing my Spock unit tests for some Java stuff. So speaking of Spring Boot, I've done a little bit. I've done some Java. Because I did some Java and some Android development, and I've done Kotlin, but I've never done Ruby on Rails. I know there are lots of shops who do that. I've never worked for a shop who did that, so I never had that opportunity. So interesting. I should have known Ruby on Rails. I just never see that acronym. Well, hey, glad you're figuring it out. Hopefully it's good. Hopefully you like it. Let's see. Hello, lots of hellos. Hello, howdy, how's it going? Hello, Tim. You just told me how to pronounce this. I'm kind of looking, and I'm not finding. Oh, Dine. It was. I'm so. Denabeam. I'm going with Denabeam. Hey, first time here. Just discovered Tim. Hey, thank you so much. Thanks for being here. Thank you. Denabeam. I got it. Denabeam. Got it. Denabeam. Hey, thank you so much for being here. I love the teal hair. Like the glasses. Hey, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Well, welcome. If you have something you want to share, throw it in chat. Let's talk about it. Just Kaiser Sose, how's it going? My UPS board. I thought this was going to be a shipping thing. My UPS board went bad after buying new batteries. So I'm now on the market for a new UPS. I did get my NPM issues squared away, your Nginx proxy manager stuff. It helps to double and triple check that you're not fat fingering anything. I hear you on that, on fat fingering stuff, let alone in forms. Let alone in like YAML and stuff too. Like, it's I'm guilty of fat fingering all kinds of stuff. Like, ask anyone who knows me. I have so many typos, and I'm super guilty of proofreading my emails in my sent box. Like, I proofread my emails after I send them. Who does that? Me, for some reason. I need to put that timer on my email so that they don't really send for a minute. But anyways, I'm glad you got it going. That's a bummer about your UPS. I was going to say when I first started reading, I was like, oh, just buy some used batteries. That's what I've done many times for a lot of my UPSs over the years. But as you mentioned, it's the board that went bad. So yeah, you do need a UPS. There's lots of decent used ones on the market. A lot of times, Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, you'll find people just like almost giving them away because maybe they don't understand that they could buy used batteries. So I hope you figure it out. Cyber Knight, how's it going? Dad joke of the day. What do you call an owl that performs magic? Ooh, Deanie. I like it. Denabium. I got a Denabime. Why can't I get that right? Denabime. And I have severe hardware envy looking at his setup, and that cabling is some of the best I've seen, Real Nerd Casimir. Thank you. I put a lot of time into it. I put a lot of time. If you see the later stuff, it's even crazier. And was it yesterday or the day before, I even did some more cable management. I think it was 2 nights ago. I've been replacing some more cables to make it look a little bit nicer. So, well, thank you. Denabime. I got it. Denabime. I got to look at it and say it. But thank you. Don't get me wrong. Like, sometimes my cable management is terrible, but I learned over the years, it took a long time, many years, to figure this out, is that, having tidy cables isn't just like, all for looks. It's not just a facade. For me, it's like, that's the only way I can figure out what's plugged into what. I mean, I spent many years of my life not labeling cables, not making them tidy, not even binding them together. Now I look back at all those years and like, man, I could have saved myself a few gray hairs if I would have just like managed them up front and put some labels on them. But now every time I go back to a label that has a label on it, I'm like, yes. And it's funny, I like appreciate labels more than I ever have. Like, I was digging through a whole bunch of my parts, how everyone has that bin of computer parts. I have like 9 of them. And I found one that said, screws for dining room chairs. And I thought, this is the greatest note ever. I would have never known that these screws were for the dining room chair. My wife wrote it, not me. But yeah, I'm guilty of having some messy cables. But after I redid my office, redid my server room, my cables are pretty tidy. Besides what you see back there, but that workbench is meant to be kind of messy because that's when I'm tearing stuff up. But after getting a server rack, that's what taught me, like, hey, I better tidy up my cables. And it took like the second iteration of my server rack to actually tidy up those cables. And then after I did that, I said, I'm going to do the same thing in my office too. So, but yeah, Lesser Train, hey, congrats on the store. Thank you. It's been a long time coming. I've known about it. I've known about it since October of last year. That's when I started on it. It's been a long time coming. So I'm glad it's here. Denabime. What I'm working on is my is I destroyed my HomeLab's iSCSI drive and lost all the VMs. That is a bummer. Yeah, I could see how that could be bad. Like, I have one iSCSI drive that does something similar. If I lost that, I'd be in big trouble. So, and it kind of stinks. Like, iSCSI is awesome. It's awesome technology because you get block storage, I guess, over the network. But it makes things kind of hard to back up too. You gotta treat it like you did, like an actual virtual machine's hard drive, and then back up things inside of those virtual machines with like file level backup. So it's tough. I hope you can recover. If not, I hope you have an automated way to get things back and running, or hey, at least you get to refresh your VMs or test out your automation knowledge and automate the build of those again. Lesser Train, let's see. Hey, Lesser Train, working on the side project today, checking out PyrRA and SLOs. Super cool project. I don't know PyrRA, but SLOs, service level objectives, or objectives, I think. Basically, I think your target, not really your SLAs, because it's not an agreement with someone. I think it's just a target, some uptime that you're targeting, I think. Hey, that's cool. I got to check it out. I'm a fan of uptime. Yeah, I want more uptime. Who doesn't? So I'm a fan of it. I don't know what this project is, but I'll check it out. Hopefully it's pretty cool because I've been doing some kind of self-hosted type stuff, but I would love to see something a little more. I don't want to go full enterprise, but something a little more enterprisey. I think I could use in this space, and not because anything other than I need to be able to have something that's reliable and something that's measurable, and those two things are sometimes hard to get in self-hosted space, for sure. But thanks for sharing. I'll definitely check out PyrRA or PyrRA. Denabime, I'm gonna get this right. I'm gonna get it right with all these comments. So I bit the bullet and started learning Proxmox. Hey, congratulations! I've been putting it off for 4 years now. Hey, it's I will say there probably are a lot of people who are in the same boat as you, right? After this Broadcom VMware shenanigans, I'm sure there are a lot of people in the same boat as you. I've been doing Proxmox for a while at home, at least, in my home lab and kind of in my home production, soon in my private cloud. I personally think it's a joy to work with. It's nice having a web-based utility, web-based, I guess, console that can be scaled, that uses KVM, that uses ZFS, that can be, I guess, scaled. I did say, and can be. You can create a cluster. You can create all kinds of stuff with it, and on top of that, it has a really nice API. Something that I think doesn't get enough credit, but they have APIs to do a lot of things, to automate a lot of stuff if you want, or to get the data out of Proxmox in general. So I think a lot of people are in the same boat as you. So don't worry about it. It's going to be new to a lot of people. I think this and XCP&G, a lot of people are testing the waters, I think, over the last month or so. So, hey, Beim, got it. Denabeim. Kaiser Sose, yes, congrats, Tim. Storm merch is looking good. Thank you. Yeah, it's I had to kind of like pick and choose a lot of stuff. I'm sure there's something there for a lot of people, maybe not something there for everyone, but it's tough when you gotta fork up the cash up front and make big bets on a lot of stuff. And I was to the point where I was only gonna launch with like 2 things, and I looked at my store, I'm like, it's so empty. And then so I had to make even bigger bets on even more things. So we'll see. But thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, even the design. People were razzing me. There's a lot of irony there. Is that my first collection or drop is called Dark Mode, but the theme itself that the shop is running on doesn't support Dark Mode. So I deserved the razzing, but I was like, CSS versus doing other things. You know what the answer is? Doing other things. So if I could put some time into it, I might create a dark theme. But I want it toggleable. I don't want to force it on some people, because some people, have a hard time reading dark, as I have a hard time reading light. So for me, I have a real use case. It's not just I like dark things, although I do too. Hey, Sigor. Hey, thanks. Sigor, 35 months Prime. Let's go, man. Almost 3 years. I can math today. Sigor says, trying again to get traffic working in my home lab, hoping for more than 20-minute intervals to get it finished. Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. One, traffic is kind of tough to get going depending on how you're running it. If you're running Kubernetes or Docker, both are challenging. Both are challenging, right? And then on top of that, if you only have small, intervals to where you can work on something, it's tough, especially something that complicated. As getting your reverse proxy and all your certificates up and going, that can be tough in small increments, because once you start to focus, if you lose that, you got to start all over. Happens a lot in software dev and IT. I think in general, people don't understand, like, hey, if you're really deep in some code, or you're really deep into debugging or looking through logs, and someone says, hey, what's going on, or can you do this for me? I think a lot of people outside of IT that don't understand, like, that you just lost your train of thought, and getting back to there it can take a lot of time. So yeah, so I hope you figure it out, dude. I totally missed some some alerts, so I'll call them out. I'm sorry, I don't know how I missed this, but anyways, Suman, 12 months, 1 year, let's go. Thank you for the continued support, appreciate it. I want to say it, I'm going with Suman. Thanks for the continued support, 1 year, let's go. Mathny, how's it going? Happy 40 months? Let's go. 40 months, man. Almost 4 years. Oh my goodness. Ilude, hey, 41 months, almost 4 years too. Dude, thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. I apologize. I should move my alerts a little bit over so I see them a little bit more clear. But thank you. I appreciate the continued support, and all you guys do in the Discord community and everywhere else too. I appreciate it. Thank you. Let me grab a drink really quick. My voice is a little weird. Yocto, holding down YWS. Yocto, got some CPUs to install for some compute blades. Xeon Gold, 6138s. Ooh, gold. You're going all out. and getting some new 40 gigabit core switches, hopefully configured and hopefully deployed this weekend. That is awesome. So man, new CPUs, gold CPUs, Xeons, and 40 gigabit core switches. That is crazy. 40 gigabit. So the switching on that is probably like insane. Like I can't even imagine how much switching that can do. But dude, that sounds awesome. Hope you get it in. And how are you even going to test that? I mean, I'm sure you have 40 gigabit connections. You probably have 100 gigabit connections. Who knows? But interesting how you're going to test that. I'm sure you're just going to use any of the standard testing tools. Denabime, got it. Moving to CentOS VM from ESXi to Proxmox. Moving a CentOS or CentOS VM from ESXi to Proxmox. Hey, that's exactly what I was thinking. Like people are doing now, is they're saying, hey, you know, this ship is sinking if it already hasn't sunk, and that ship being ESXi, and then moving off to other alternatives. So yeah, that's what I thought was going on when you said you've been holding out for 4 years. I'm like, this is someone who's coming from VMware. I know it. Oh, thank you. This was from earlier. Thanks, Randoneering. Appreciate it. Denabime, got it. Hi, it's Yiddish. All right, Denabime, I got it. I totally got it. YWS sponsorship for sure. Alfie Trust, congrats on opening the store. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's pretty wild. It's pretty wild doing something like this. I've never done anything like this before, and learned a ton. I worked at startups and done stuff like that, and learned a little bit about, product and marketing and finance, but not as much as I've learned, I think, in the last 3 weeks, or 3 weeks is really when the rubber was starting to meet the road. But thank you. I appreciate it. Randoneering, how's it going? Working on Linux ISO download farm. All right, a farm to download Linux ISOs. All right, make sure you host those too. But also been working with Terraform and Ansible at work a lot, so this is bled into the HomeLab. I love it. Making RDS modules for fun. Feeling cute. Might post later. Hey, I hear you, man. I hear you. So a couple of things. Linux ISO farm. I'm sure a lot of people do it. I'm sure it works great. There are a lot of tools to do that. So, but anyways, working on Terraform and Ansible at work a lot. Hey, man, this is awesome. I think you were doing some stuff with, like you said, RDS, and making sure that databases get created, and I guess provisioned is probably a better way to put it, properly. So you said, hey, to heck with telling people how to do it, or you did it wrong. I'm going to create modules with Terraform to do it right for you. That is awesome. I've been doing a little bit more Terraform at quote-unquote work too, and it's pretty awesome. I have some qualms with it. I'm sure a lot of people do. But it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun to do a Terraform plan or apply, or apply and auto approve is usually what I do, and then do a destroy. I have a few beefs with Terraform, but overall I like it. Sometimes order of operations, although should work, don't always work, and Terraform destroy doesn't always destroy everything it created, but those are probably the modules I'm working on. But that is awesome. That sounds fun. That is exactly why I like automation, is not only because, you get to kick back and watch it work, but you can ensure it's doing the same thing every time. And especially when you're doing something that's desired state too. If you're layering on, kind of standardization and then desired state tools like Ansible or Terraform, that is awesome. Because then you're like, yep, I'm going to describe what I want my state to be. This is everything. This is our standard, RDS deployment or whatever that thing may be. Go. Yeah. And then you tie that into a approval or CI. Boom. Then you're like, yep, I'm just going to click approve PR on this stuff all day, Kick back, drink your coffee. I'm kidding. Might post later. My wifey. I don't know if that's a wifey or wife. Setup looks so great. I appreciate it. Resumin. I want to get your name right too. So if you want to pronounce it phonetically or spell it phonetically, that would be great, because I hate. I want to pronounce it the way it's supposed to be pronounced, like the way your mom or dad would say it too. Because a lot of people are like, that's fine. I'm like, no, like literally tell me how your parents call it, the name they call you, because I want to pronounce it exactly like that. Let's see. David Court, did you see the video of playing snakes? I did. So did you see the video of playing snakes with UniFi switch LEDs? I did. That was pretty wild. So UniFi released these UniFi ProMax switches. Like it or love it. What it does, it will light up the port with an RGB light of your choosing, or their choosing, or a status's choosing, and helps you do things like locate ports, see what VLAN's on, or in this case, play Snake. So I saw that. I saw it on Twitter. Someone wrote a real quick script to be able to hook. The tweet was great. Tweet was genius. It was like, hey, I spent however much on this gaming console. It only came with one game or something like that. Anyways, but they were able to hook up a controller to the Switch and then play Snake with the LEDs on the UniFi Pro Switch. It was pretty awesome. I liked it. I liked it for sure. I was like, yeah, I might test it out. And then I was like, probably not. Probably not. But it was pretty fun for sure. Dude, Trevor, hey, thank you so much. Hey, Tim, started a new project, Red Route. Hey, man, I saw this earlier. I saw it in Discord, and I saw it on your GitHub, but I have no idea what's going on. I saw a lot of Python, and I saw you had a UI. But anyways, it's used to back up the network configuration of all my equipment. Also, holy smokes, I've been sub for a long time. You have, man. That is 2.25 years. I can math today. I can definitely math today, I think. Don't call me out on it. 2.25 years. Dude, Trevor, that is awesome. Thank you so much for the continued support. And yes, I did see it. Sorry I didn't respond. I was super busy, but I did see it. You posted it. Like I said, it's your own self-hosted GitLab instance. You had a few repos in there. One's for your equipment, one for UI. I saw a lot of Python, and I was like, man, I'm not great at Python. But that is awesome, man. Thanks for the continued support. I'd love to hear more about this in the future, or if you could describe it in Discord, that would be awesome about what's going on. So anyways, thank you. I appreciate it for the continued support. Spamware, hey, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Appreciate what you do out there. Spamware, thank you. Denabime, have you used IPA at all? Red Hat Directory Manager. I have not. So as you mentioned, it's Red Hat Directory Manager. I usually refer to it as like open source Active Directory because I don't have a great way to describe it, but I think you described it well there. A directory manager, directory services. I have it. I hear good things about it. The good things I hear about it is it's open source. You can self-host it and doesn't require Windows. But I haven't done it. I have thought about spinning up Windows Active Directory services here just to kind of test it out and see how it goes. But that's a lot of hardware and a lot of licenses, and that's where IPA I think comes in to help me out to say, hey, you don't need those licenses. It's open source, and you don't need a Windows machine. You can run it on Linux. So I should for sure. I should check it out. Walt's Daddy. It's nearly impossible. Wait, what? We're jumping here. I usually am pretty good at keeping track. It's nearly impossible because they will only take time when something bothers them. Oh, I see what you mean. This was going back to when I was talking about like getting interrupted. All right, getting interrupted when you're deep in a debugging session, or you're digging through logs, or you're 15 commands deep in a terminal, or you just exec into a Kubernetes pod that could be killed at any second, and here comes someone to talk to you that just wants to complain about something that has nothing to do with you. I see where you're going, Walt's Daddy. Yeah, it's it happens. It happens for sure. Let me see. Can I give you feedback? Yeah, sure. Have you considered doing call-ins where people ask for advice in their home lab? It's kind of what I'm doing now. No, I like it. But you probably mean more like long form, like do on YouTube, like people call in, ask advice. Maybe, basically a consulting session where I tell them what I think they're doing right, or what I think they should improve, or what they're doing wrong. I don't know if I don't know if I have the creds to do that. I feel weird. No, I mean, I haven't thought of it. That's kind of what this kind of started out being, was like, hey, let's ask me questions about things that maybe you've tried that I've taught that you might need help with. That's kind of how this started. But at the same time, I haven't really that sounds like a pretty good idea. Maybe a little mini series or something like that. Instead of roasting them, hey, let's lift people up instead of knocking them down. But no, knocking them down is kind of fun because it's all in good spirits too. But no, that's a good idea, Walt Zaddy. I like it. Walt Zaddy. I want to say Walt's daddy, but Walt Zaddy. I like it. Good idea. Good idea. Let's see. Alfie Truss, have you heard about the new W3 proposal from Google to give websites the ability to manage Windows on the local system? Seems pretty cursed. Whoa. So W3 proposal from Google that gives websites the ability to manage Windows on the local system. Yeah, that does not seem good. That does not seem good. So basically, what I think what you're saying is what I'm hearing is that Google's proposing that they allow websites to jump out of website land, right? To jump out of, I guess, your browser, or give your browser or a website you visit the ability to control a window. So actually getting out of the browser and controlling something on your local operating system, that does not sound good. That doesn't sound good to me. I mean, there are things that are kind of, out there that people use for, desktop development, and so there are kind of things like that, but there's like an established contract to do that. You have to register with the system. You have to say like, hey, here are my intents, usually, and here's how you launch them. That sounds weird. I wonder what their, that does not sound good. To me, when I hear that, what I think is like, Google, search, they want to index everything, right? Just like they want to index apps, they want to index everything. I'm sure they would love to index Discord if they could, because they want search results to appear when people search. When I hear that, I automatically think, sounds like they want to index my desktop, and no, thank you. No, I don't know. I have to read more about it. It sounds wild. I'm sure they have. I'm not saying it's a good consumer reason, but I'm sure they probably have a good business reason to propose this. I'm interested in what that is, more so than the tech to do it is the why. And I'm sure you are too. I'm sure you are too. Walt Zaddy, Dust Off Rails Essentials book from '08. Yeah, like I said, I haven't done any Rails stuff. So yeah, I don't even, I'd be dusting it off. I'd ask to borrow it from someone first, for sure. Denabime, there's there's excellent tutorial out there for Rails. Yeah, I'm sure there are. Like I said, I never worked for a shop, a Rails shop, as they would call it in development, who did Rails. I hired and worked with lots of people who did Rails, and they would talk about it, and they would talk about some of the similarities of the stuff we were doing in either JavaScript or with MVM or Node and stuff like that. They would always talk about the similarities, and they were quick to point out where Node or NPM stole ideas for them. But no, I haven't done it myself. Like I said, just modifying script, I think, for not even for Rails. That was for Ruby. So I'm way out of my element now. Even more so if I was talking about .NET, because I've done that before. McLovinade. What is it? McLovinade. I like it. McLovinade. What I'm working on, background in the ops side of the house, trying to contribute back to the community and get into development. Any tips, tricks, advice on how you approach acceptance testing? So let's break this down. You're in ops, trying to contribute back to the community and get into development. So you want to get less out of ops and more into development. And then any advice on your approach to acceptance testing? This one's tough because a lot of people do acceptance testing or QA testing or anything in a lot of different ways. I'd say if you aren't already doing this and you want to make a name for yourself and you want to stand out, I would say, if you're not already, automate all of your testing, automate all of your functional testing, and so that you basically don't have to do them anymore. It kind of sounds weird, right? You're like gonna automate yourself out of a job is what it sounds like, right? But no, that's not what it is. It means that you're just gonna start automate your testing so that if someone says, hey, I changed this button, you don't have to go out and look to see if the button's there. You automate it in CI and have CI check to see if the button's there, or if if the checkout button says checkout, or if the shop button says shop. I would go down that route, and I've worked for companies who had very, very, very I would say a manual way of QAing anything and doing acceptance testing, which was basically hand it to a person, say, does it work? And then I've worked for places that had, I wouldn't say sophisticated, but I would say a lot better than that, to where they started writing a lot of their tests, or their functional tests or acceptance tests, targeting different environments automatically. And it's debatable, whose responsibility that is. Sometimes people say, hey, the engineers that wrote the code should write the test. I kind of lean towards there, because they know the code the best, and they know the behavior they're trying to, drive, if it's something for front end. But then a lot of people say, well, hey, our QA org is going to revamp, and we're going to start getting QA engineers who start writing these tests. And I think that's acceptable too. Anyways, if you want to dip your toes in getting more into development, writing those automated tests is writing code. It's 100% writing code. And there you could lean into your knowledge of acceptance testing and functional testing, all the testing you already do, and start to write code using some kind of framework, depending on what you use. I use Cypress a lot. If you're doing web dev, Cypress is a good framework to do that. So anyways, there's a lot of ways you can go. I would say, bring in a crazy idea, like let's automate all of our tests, and you'll land somewhere in the middle. And I think that's good, just to get people thinking about that. And so, there's many benefits to automating those tests. And then you'll be the hero too for even on the development side of the house, because as they're breaking code or enhancing features, that should be working, you might find that they have some regression, and your test will catch that. And that's awesome too. When I'm always happy when tests break. That means, one, we have tests, and two, I have a test case that actually caught the thing that I broke. So I love it. It's again, one of my oddities. I love it when my tests break. I love it. When people complain about, the test, I can't get past CI, the test is breaking. I mean, depending on how brittle your tests are, I'm always like, yes. People think I'm weird at work I work with. But I get so happy when my tests break, because, like I said, one, test exists. Assert, true is true. You're not just asserting that true is true and getting through CI. You're actually testing something. And two, it means that a test case exists that tests your exact scenario, and it's preventing you from doing something bad. So anyways, I could talk all day about development and test. It was a good question. But I would say come up with some crazy idea, like let's automate all of this, and see how that goes. Real quick, DPNSO, hey, how's it going? 39 months, tier 1. Let's go. Thank you so much for the sub. Appreciate it. 39 months. Thanks for the continued support. I can't do the math, but that is that is 3 months. Hey, we're back to 3.25. I can't do the math. No, that is not right. Never mind. I'm not going to math today. Thanks for the over 3 years of continued support, DPNSO. Good to see you. Good to see you. Thank you. Let's see. Real quick, McLovinade. Hey, thank you so much for the tier 1 support, new tier 1 support. McLovinade, I love it. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. But yeah, going back to what I was saying about testing, I'd say come in with some wild ideas, and if you have leadership support and you have people behind you that say, okay, how do we get there? Just be prepared to help people get there, and if you help them get there, they're gonna McLovinade you forever. So I think it's a good way to go, automating that stuff, because then it helps hold everyone accountable. But anyways, but thank you for the sub. I really appreciate it. Suimin. I've been setting up self-hosted GitLab at work. Next step is setting up EKS Runners. Hey, awesome. So awesome. I know exactly what you're doing. So one, you're going self-hosted GitLab at work. That is awesome. So you're self-hosting the open source version of GitLab yourself, and then you're going to set up GitLab runners in your environment. And then when you spin up those runners, you're actually going to spin them up in Amazon's hosted managed Kubernetes service. That is awesome. That is awesome. I love it. I love it. I've done something similar, but with GCP, Google, or GKE, I guess I should say. And it's super fun. And I run my self-hosted runners here too for both GitLab and GitHub here. It's awesome. It's awesome. So I know exactly what you're doing. I love it. I love it. It's cool too. Once you get that going, you should do auto scaling too. This is scope creep, but I'm gonna give scope creep because I'm not the one doing the work, so I'm gonna make suggestions. Get auto scaling going, because that's when it gets really cool. So if you have 3 builds in the pipeline, auto scale, a couple more nodes to take on those workloads. As soon as it's done, as soon as you get past that threshold, scale back down so you're not paying for those nodes when they're not running. Super cool. And the people running the builds will love you too. You'll be a hero. But auto scaling is pretty awesome. And there's some tips you can do to make sure that it, like I said, auto scales properly. But yeah, auto scale up to 3 nodes when you have more than so many builds. And you're going to have to do that based on CPU requests and memory requests. But if you're getting this running, I think you know where to look. But it's super fun. Takano, dude, how's it going? 38 months. I'm not going to do the math on that. It's 2 months over 3 years. On my break right now, so I decided to stop by for a second. Dude, thank you, Takano. How's it going? My wife and I have been hitting up Goodwills, and she asked, why do you want to go to Goodwill? I said, because this guy, I didn't say your name, but I was talking about you. I said, because this guy, and I won't say where you're from, this guy, sorry, this guy in the Southwest, he goes to Goodwill and he finds like the most awesome like tech stuff ever at his Goodwills. She said, maybe he's getting it online. I said, I thought that too, but no, he goes in person. So we hit 1 up last week. We're going to hit up 2 this week. I'm going to see if I can outdo Takano at my local Goodwill to see if I can pick up something that's that's better than a Netgear router from 2002. Don't get me wrong; those are awesome routers. At the same time, like Takano's picking up like HP switches and stuff. Anyway, thanks for the continued support, man. Good to see you. Good to see you. I promise we had that conversation last week. And if I find something, I'm definitely going to post it in Discord. So we'll see. The train is gone. Yeah, it is, man. Denabine. I before E, except after B. I like it. Modest Tim, how's it going, man? Hello, Tim in chat. How's it going, Modest Tim? He's working on Social Blade. I know he is. He always is. Or his new TikTok notifications. Walt Zaddy, currently working on my web app for Rails on the back end and API with VueJS on the front end. Awesome. That sounds awesome. VueJS, done very little, but I totally get it. I've done a ton of React. But awesome. Sounds pretty sweet. Going Vue.js. All right. I know that's a super lightweight to go, lightweight way to go, and the super performant way to go. I wish I could do more of Vue.js to really, really get it. But I totally understand the differences between that and React. It's like everywhere I work uses React, so I haven't had a chance. I want to learn that on someone else's time, or create another channel just for coding. Who knows? Let's see. Node and Python for microservices. All right. No Go? No Go. Go gets no love. All right. You should, yeah. A lot of people doing Go all the time. Seems like Go or nothing, it seems like now. They don't even want to look at it unless it has Go. I'm just teasing. Not really. That's what other people say, not me. I'm okay. Denabime. There are a few doing one now. Ruby isn't bad. UI design is really where I suck. Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay. If I have a designer, I can build anything any designer will create on the web, just like I can't come up with the initial design. I totally understand patterns, and I totally get patterns, and I can look at UIs like what Google does or Twitter does, and I can copy it. I can copy it really good and like write the code in the CSS to make it work. But that initial design is tough. It's tough. It's where you really need, a good. I would lean more towards UX than UI. You need someone who understands the user experience too, and not just cranking out static images and saying this should be your design. but someone who's in UX who understands when I click this button, here's what will happen, and all the the experiences around that. So yeah, I love that stuff though. I like front end. I like front end. I'm a weird one. I said I like front end more than back end. I can do them both. I can do back, front, middle, but I really enjoy front end because I don't know, makes me happy. Maximiliano, you're an inspiration. Hey, thank you. I appreciate it. Hopefully for the right things. Hopefully for the right things. Good day, yo. How's it going? Let's see. Traxionic. I'm so bad at pronouncing things today. I gotta watch my time, so I'm not. So I'm committing to the time that you guys have. Been working on a full-blown Cloud Init Proxmox template that builds using Ansible. That sounds awesome. That sounds really awesome. I want to get there. So shortly, I've been saying this, I feel like for months, so I don't even want to mention it because now I feel like I'm just like beating a dead horse. But I am moving some of my servers into a colo. I'm creating my own private cloud, and I want my private cloud to be 100% infrastructure as code. And that also means deploying my virtual machines and my machines basically 100%, like I said, infrastructure as code, where I'm going to start with nothing besides Proxmox. I got to start with Proxmox. I can't start with bare metal, in a colo. That's getting a little too wild. But I basically want to provision everything for Proxmox up using code. So I'm there with you. You'll have to maybe share that with me too. I haven't decided. It's going to be, Ansible. It's going to be Terraform. It's going to be a mix of both. Haven't decided yet. Been doing a lot more Terraform at work. Been doing a lot more Ansible at home. So we'll see. Somewhere they meet. But it sounds awesome. It sounds fun. You got to share that code with me so I can borrow it. I can borrow it and put it in production. You got it. Denabium. All right. Racks help. They do help. Racks help in a lot of ways. Help get you in trouble when you have too many things. No, but you were saying racks help with cable management and stuff like that. But yeah, I agree. Once I got a rack and got my own rack and then got my second rack, that's when I realized I gotta tame the wires. Waltz Addy. Considering a framework like Foundation or Tailwind. Yeah, Tailwind or elements you need for them specifically. Yeah, good call on Tailwind CSS. I agree. Tailwind CSS, if you need something lightweight and you just need CSS and you need whatever, grids, columns, layouts, like Bootstrap kind of used to be. But now Bootstrap is huge. Yeah, Tailwind is awesome. And you'll find it on a lot of sites and you won't even know it. But Tailwind CSS is a good way to go. If you want something super lightweight and you just want to attach some CSS classes to stuff and get things that look pretty good. Yeah, it's a great place to start. I agree. Or even end because they make great CSS and great modules. Discovered Tailwind already. Love it. Yeah, tell me about it. Yeah, I totally agree. Cyber Knight, good. It definitely helps me. Yeah. Let's see. G'day. Hey, Tim. I'm curious to know what shopping cart services you used to support your new online shop. Hey, g'day. Good question. All right. Someone wants to know about the business of the stuff. Not that you guys didn't, but now I get to talk about it because I made a lot of decisions around this. So, I'll just say this. Like, when you build a shop, you have a couple of options, right? You have a lot of options. It's almost death by choices. Analysis paralysis, right? You have way too many choices. Do I self-host this thing? Do I pay someone to host my thing? Do I just rent a service? SaaS basically approach. And then if I go SaaS, what do I use? I honestly thought about the self-hosted approach. And that was kind of scary, but I thought, hey, like that's my jam. If I can't keep my shop up, I don't make money. And that's just part of what I do, that's my jam. But I got a little scared mainly because I got to bring in WordPress and then I got to bring in these plugins and do all this stuff. And I thought, I'm not doing WordPress for my shop. I'm sure they do e-commerce great with WooCommerce, but that's not for me here in my production, my home production. And then I started looking at other things. I thought, okay, well, I'll have someone else host it. And, then it started turning into Squarespace versus Shopify. And both of them do e-commerce great. Shopify has some benefits, like they can integrate with a lot of places like TikTok and stuff like that. You can integrate with a lot of different places really easily. Like if you go to my Twitter right now, you'll see my products like built into Twitter. And so I ended up going, but then with Squarespace, you get a lot of integrations, not the same amount of integrations because a lot of people go with Shopify first because they're, a first class shopping platform. They've been from the beginning. So other companies usually choose them for an integration first because they know a lot of commerce flows through there. But Squarespace has better deals, better rates on shipping. Like it's cheaper. There's a lot of reasons to like Squarespace, and it's great too because if you're using them for your website, then you can just add on e-commerce really easily. All that being said, I went the hard way and went with Shopify, and so I went with Shopify, and it's surprisingly cool. I wish they had a Twitch add-in for alerts. I might build my own just so I can, if I'm ever on a stream and someone buys something, I can get an alert. Be pretty cool to see. But I went with Shopify mainly because their integrations. I had to pay a little bit more, but their integrations are so good. I mean, they integrate into YouTube. Now, if you go to YouTube, you see my stuff. You go to Instagram, Facebook, you see my stuff like built into my profile. And there are other ways I can surface it too. Same with a lot of places. So anyways, long story short, that's who I went with Shopify. But I will say the biggest reason I went with Shopify, because I've done a lot of development. I mean, I'm a software developer outside of YouTube. And a lot of customers that I've worked with, they use Shopify for everything. And so I've never had any kind of development experience or anything with Shopify because I never sold products. And I'd never, worked for a company who wanted to develop for the Shopify platform. And I thought, here's a 2-for-1. If I pay for my personal stuff, then I get to learn about Shopify and their APIs and all this stuff and how things work. So that, hey, someday I can say, yes, I also have some Shopify experience. So that was really the reason why I went with it, is because I want to be knowledgeable about it, outside of in my development life too. So I could say, I get it. I built the shop, kind of know how it works, know the integrations, what's up. So anyways, I don't know everything about it, but it's if you understand like how to build products and price them and and do inventory, it's very similar to all the rest. But anyways, good day. That's what I went with. This is not a commercial for Shopify or Squarespace, but they know e-commerce because that's how a lot of people sell their stuff. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool for sure. Speaking of, there was an order, and I would love to get a notification on it. Ansible for the win. I agree. Sigor, hello everyone. Oh yeah, Sigor, run as administrator. I agree too. Denabime, only thing I don't like is paste. Doesn't seem to work. Only thing I don't like is paste. It doesn't seem to work. Oh, I think you mean paste. So I'm gonna try to track this thread in my head. So I'm thinking you're on Proxmox. You spun up a VM. You're in a window. You're in the console window from the web, and you're trying to paste into it, and it's not working. I think I got that one. I don't know. I'm giving myself too much credit. But if that's what you're thinking, there's this thing called the Spice client. If you install the Spice client, that's kind of like an enhanced client, web client, where you can do things like paste. The one you see on their web is kind of like the lowest common denominator. Think of that as like a KVM, right? Think of that as like you're looking into a remote KVM, and a remote KVM, a lot of times you don't have paste unless you have some special command or some additional tools, right? So think of the Spice driver and the Spice client like those additional tools. Think of that like is it the Horizon client? I don't know. ESXi has all those guest editions and stuff like that. No, that's not one-to-one. Never mind. The QEMU guest agent is like the guest editions on VMware. So once you get your virtual machine up in Proxmox, you'll want to install the QEMU, now they're guest edition, no, QEMU software. Additions? Now I'm like confusing it because I'm talking about VMware. But anyways, you want to install the QEMU guest agent stuff, and that will give you like drivers for all of the virtual hardware that it's going to use. The Spice agent will give you a better remote client so you can do things like paste through the web. QEMU guest client agent thing. Thanks, Denabime. I hope that helps. I hope that helps. But you want the spice. The spice. You want the spice. Speaking of spice, yeah, isn't part 2 of Dune coming out here in a little bit? I cannot wait. Anyways, I cannot wait. I was so ready for the second half of that movie as soon as the first half ended, because it was so good compared to the original. I won't go there. Denabime, depends on the display type being used for the VM. At least for me, that seems to be the case. Yeah, spice. You want the spice. My wife's probably like, why are you talking about spice? That's our little joke when we do whenever spice comes up, because yeah. Anyways, it's a Dune joke. Sigor, trying to get traffic working in my home lab. Oh yeah, I saw this earlier from your sub message. Yeah, I totally agree. I hope you get it. Yeah, responsibilities can be a hindrance. I totally agree too. Oh, let me see. Alfie Trust, he just missed the joke. Ooh, it had to have been about Google Chrome. It had, or Google and Windows. I totally ultimate tragedy. I'm lost. I am lost. I missed that one too. Here we go, Sweet Tech. Hello from Sweden, working on preparing my storage server for the upcoming upgrade to 20 terabyte disks instead of the old disk. All right, change the HBA from an LSI SAS or SAS 2308 to an LSI SAS 3008 flashed into IT mode. Did some cable cleanup. Now chilling, watching you on dark mode setting. All right, I love it. I love it. I don't know the difference between those controllers. I assume maybe you did it so that you can get IT mode. I hope that's the case, and which probably means you're going with ZFS because you're going to do it, not necessarily a JBOD, but you're going to, create a ZFS pool of hopefully drives. Hope you figure it out. Oh yeah, true dark mode. All right. But yeah, that is awesome. Enjoy. That sounds like fun for sure. Michael. Hello, Tim. Just following you here because big fan of your YouTube channel. Thank you so much. Thank you for your videos. I appreciate it, Michael. Hey, no problem at all. I definitely, I'm glad you're here. Whoa, light mode. Yeah. This is what I get for launching a dark mode product on a light mode website. Totally. Totally get it. My eyes are so squinty now. But I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you made it all the way over from YouTube. And I don't say that as a joke. It's kind of a joke from the far off land of YouTube. It's a big hop to go from YouTube to get to Twitch. So I appreciate you crossing that chasm and coming here to say that. I appreciate it so much. Appreciate it. Oh man, I can't see. That's all right. I deserve it. Trevor, these are the sub messages. All right, guys. I went a little bit over. I'm having too much fun. I'm gonna look for one or two here. I'm gonna start picking. I do apologize. McLovenaid. I am a longtime Puppet user. Ansible doesn't cut it for me, so I'm working on develop Puppet modules to contribute to the modules I've been using for years. Yeah, that is awesome. That is awesome. To each his own. I get it. Like some people are big Puppet shops. Some people are Ansible shops. Some people are Terraform shops. I get it. But that is awesome that you're creating modules to do the stuff you want, to continue to reap the value, I guess, that your company has poured into, into learning Puppet. So that is awesome. That is awesome. Salvarius, how's it going? 33 months, tier 1. Let's go. Thank you so much, dude. Appreciate it. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're ready for the cold north. Actually, it was 10 degrees here yesterday, and I know you're coming to the Twin Cities area in a little bit. I think you'll be good. You might get 40s or 50s, which is pretty warm for February. So, hope you're doing well. And Donker, Donor Kebab. Hey, thanks for follow. Appreciate it. Welcome. All right, I'm gonna pick one more. I do apologize that I skipped over a lot of these. Let me see. I'm just gonna click this one. Yanov. I'm so bad at pronouncing names that I'm not used to saying. I do apologize. If I could do all of my home serving on a PC, why do you need a whole rack for stuff? Truth. That is truth. Truth right there. Oh man, it's like my wife sent you here. Sally, is that you? Did you just create a Twitch account? Okay. So yeah, good question. If I could do all of my home serving on a PC, why do you need a whole rack to do stuff? Man, no, I totally agree. How much time you got? No, I'll say this. Do I need a whole entire rack of stuff? Yes. No. No, I will say, okay, so a couple of things. Like if you look at my rack, the first, I'm going to make up all kinds of excuses now, but I think they might be valid and they might apply to other people, so they might not be excuses. My first quarter of the rack is all networking. Do I need that much networking? Probably not. Could I get by with half of that? Yeah. But the first quarter of my rack is networking. You know, could I get by with a 12 or 24 port switch on just on my workbench? Sure, I could do that. So rack's gone. Then you're right. I did switch from 1U servers down to NUC machines. So I have 3 of those in a cluster. Could I take those out of the rack? Sure. But then I have 3 of those. Could I combine them all in one? Sure, I probably could. You're right. So there goes the rack again. But then I have like a huge NAS and a storage server that has, it has 10 drives. Could I get them all in one machine that also has all of my other Kubernetes or maybe Docker stuff running in it? Yeah, I probably could. So there goes the rack. So you're right. I probably could get by with one all-in-one PC, right? As long as it had enough lanes. Let's just assume like compute, RAM, and everything is there. I could get everything into one if I really wanted to. But I don't do that for a few reasons. One, huge single point of failure. I get it that other people, hey, if Plex is down for a little bit, that's fine. If something they monitor internally is down, that's fine. For me, I actually run my website and stuff out of my house. I'm on a residential plan. Who cares? I'm sorry, USI. But I run. They're not mission critical stuff, but it's a lot of documentation that you guys use to do. To look up stuff or follow along in my videos. I host it there because I like self-hosting stuff. I have my CI running in there, so I have a lot of stuff going on in there. That if it went down, it would kind of stink. I'd hear about it. People would ping me on Twitter or ping me anywhere and say, hey, your website's down, which would kind of stink for me. So I cluster. So I have a minimum of 3 whenever I do things, except for hard drives. Hard drives are doing 2, machines I do in 3. Plus, I tend to cluster things so that I can have some higher availability, and so that if one thing's down, the other 2 things could provide that service for me. Same thing I do with hard drives. I do those in 2s. So yeah, I could get by. I think in the very beginning, for many, many years, I had a single server. But only in my recent history, I'd say the last 5 years, did I expand beyond 2. I had 2 machines for a long time. One that did stuff, one that did other stuff. And now I because I like Kubernetes, because I like ZFS, because I like networking, and I like home security, I have expanded. So you're exactly right. I could, and some people do. Some people absolutely do. I mean, some people do it on just their NAS, right? A single box Synology NAS. They could run their containers. They could throw hard drives in there. From there, they get the applications they want. They get the storage with redundancy. And they can do everything they want there. Yeah, that is totally fine. They can do their home security off there too. Same thing with Unraid. So could do that probably with your NAS too. I could get down to 1 box. So, but for me, yeah, I like to cluster stuff, and yeah. I'm making up so many excuses, but you're totally right. And that, I mean, maybe that's a good call out. And I try to say this all the time, is that like, just because I have a rack of a ton of stuff doesn't mean everyone else has to too, right? To each his own. A lot of stuff that I do in that rack, again, is to provide services publicly to most people who want documentation and stuff like that. And the rest is just for fun. The rest is for fun, for sure. So anyways, yeah, good question. Yeah, good question. I like it. This is like 60 minutes or 40, I don't know. Investigative journalism. I like it. Anyways, that is a great question. I don't mean to pick fun at you and saying that this is a pointed question, but I like it because these are tough questions that I think I have to answer sometimes, and not everyone needs it. And you're exactly right. So, anyways, let's end on a good note. Now that was a good note. I'm teasing. Anyways, thank you all so much for tuning in today. Wow, I went a little bit over. I really appreciate. Man, there's so many comments, so many great questions like this last one. There was subs, new subs, resubs, continued subs, follows. I really appreciate it. It's never, ever expected or required, but I greatly appreciate it. It helps me go back and do kind of fun stuff. So I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. If I didn't get to your question, I apologize. I think I got to about 75-80%. This is just me making up numbers. So if I skipped over yours, I apologize. If you still have a question you want to ask, you can absolutely post in our Discord. We have a Discord community. It's getting close to 10,000 people that really like tech, like home labs, and it's there for you to enjoy if you want. Super low ping, once every 2 weeks, maybe once a week, if that, at least for me. And the rest is on everyone else. But super low ping, great community full of people who are super helpful, super nice. I got super lucky to have all these people in my Discord, and I appreciate it if you'd be there too. You could lurk all you want, doesn't matter. Anyways, you'll find links below, and I think some people have also posted in here, so I appreciate that. If you have a question for me, you can absolutely ping me there, or you can, like I said, we have a lot of people who are very knowledgeable who might answer it first. And you could also ping me on Twitter, X, whatever you call it, anywhere you want. I'll try to respond as soon as I can. Thank you guys all so much, not only for the stream, but for everything. I mean, I just hit 200,000 subs recently. I launched a shop. I have a Discord community full of awesome people. I have people in my chat, and thank you so much, because without you, none of this would happen. I can remember there was a day when I would stream to just myself. There was one viewer, and it was me in another window. So I really appreciate it. I really do. Anyways, have a great weekend. I will have something out for you on YouTube this week. And otherwise, I will be back here on Saturday. And if you have something you want to answer, just toss it in Discord. Let's talk. Let's continue the conversation there. Have a great rest of the weekend, and be good to each other. Take care, folks.